everyone. Welcome back into Prime Time Live here. Finally, we made it back in the saddle again, didn't we, Champ?
Yep, how about that?
My goodness, it's been a crazy week and a long morning for us and just preparation and getting over to the studio and trying to zig and zag from a potential hurricane and all. But today we really do have another great show for you. We're preparing for the new year. I know we still have less than 2 months to go to prepare, but we're like Boy Scouts, right? We want to be prepared.
Correctly.
So a little over a year ago in 2019 is when we set the stage with a 2020 vision for 2020. And little did we know that we were going to be faced with a few little challenges, a few little hiccups in life. Not a problem. We got through that. So now we're setting our intention for the upcoming year. And I'm very excited as I've collaborated with my dear friends out there in the health and wellness world, in the champion world of martial arts. We have come up with the New You Breakthrough. And that's going to be a series coming up after the first of the year. But because you're here first, you get a chance to hear some of the little snippets that we're going to be talking about. It's going to affect all of us. I'm sure you'll all agree that we've had challenges with the COVID, the politics, the election, the not election, who's going to be president, and all of that. And we like to believe that we're kind of sailing through it without too much angst. Let me just put it that way, too much angst. So we're going to be talking about many things that I think will hit a core with you, such as body biology. We have a very, very big specialist in body biology, and I will introduce that person in a little bit. We are going to be talking about the immune system. Hello. Anybody out there interested in building their immune system? I would hope so if you haven't already. We'll talk about that. And it will be sort of a review of what we've been sharing with you over the last few months. Weight management. Is anybody raising their hand for gaining any weight over the last 6 months? I have to. I've got the COVID-6, I think it's actually COVID-7, that I need to lose and maintain and manage my weight. So we're going to help you with that. Brain health. We have a special guest that's going to be sharing some things coming up. Mr. Harry is going to be joining us, not sure when, maybe after the first of the year. And also a part of our coaching program, which is known as the Emotional Prison Breakout. That's pretty heavy. And I know you can't wait to talk about that because it's all getting us right back to our core, right back to our life force in living a heart-empowered life, all backed by science, which is everything we do anymore, always have pretty much. And there will be so much more with that. Today we're going to have an open discussion, an open mic. We're going to be talking of some of the things that we've been doing because we have new viewers every single show that we do. This is live and totally unrehearsed, and it will be archived. So if you want to share it and tell other people about it, we certainly invite you to do so. If you are first time with us today, we're actually going to be talking about something that is very near and dear to us, which is the whole collection of how to really live that optimal life. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. My other host with me is Master Dennis Kelly, actually Grandmaster Dennis Kelly. How about that? I know that works.
Yeah, well, it should.
Remember that video that I showed you today that came up as a memory on Facebook?
Yeah, that brought back some nice memories.
I know. And you know what the best thing...
Excuse me, I may lose my voice.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm sure I can pick up where you left off. No, not a problem. But so today I found a memory. You know how they do on Facebook. And if you're out there and you are on Facebook, you can go to my time page and my timeline, Barbara Marville-Kelly, and you'll see a post, and I think it was from 2 or 3 years ago, when you discovered the manuscript. And you know what this manuscript is? It's all the secrets that my husband has collected over the years. And I actually brought this in because we are going to be getting this published. It's every secret that he's ever stumbled across and ever implemented in being a world-class athlete and how he was able to acquire and win 6 world championships. In fact, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but some of these pages are all yellow. They're yellow. They're so old, I don't think you can see it. But anyway, I can, and we know that it's there. That's a really good yellowed out one. But these are the secrets that he's been living and teaching me. And it's interesting because there's something about martial artists that sing the same tune. You're all on the same page when it comes to championing the champion within. Does that sound like a fair assessment?
Yeah, we all have to realize that to have the ability to take that power, which we call the champion power, we have to have a desire. And when you have a desire, you have to fuse that desire with passion.
Aha.
And the reason that I've been told, why didn't I come out with this sooner when I was competing? Well, I didn't want my competition.
That's right.
This was so powerful. This stuff in here was how about that?
I know.
This stuff in here was so powerful that whoever uses the principles is bound to be a champion.
Yes, yes. And I've thumbed through this, and I'm telling you, this isn't really just for people that are thinking of becoming a professional athlete or going out into competition, because I know a lot of the competitions are kind of like on hold to some degree, like your son,
Right.
and that kind of thing. Chrisula, our gal who is doing triathlons. I know she's not competing until next year, but she is in big time training. And you know, Chrisula, I'm glad that you did call it the power, because when you have that power, it's almost like you can achieve anything you set your heart for.
The three most important letters are thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. So what you think about, you bring about. You take what you see that you need, and then you focus on that, and voila, over a period of time, if you got the passion, if you got the direction, if you got the getting off your butts, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Then you've got a whole world of power, and you say, well, why don't more people do this? Because everybody's got it. They just don't believe they have it. That's why they don't get it. You have to believe
yes,
that we are invincible. And you say, well, if you're shot dead, you're not invincible. Oh, yeah, there's an energy there that sort of floats around, decides what victim it wants next.
You know, it's interesting that you say people don't believe that they have the power, and I am such a believer in that, what you just said. And earlier, this video that I found, it was my husband when he discovered the manuscript papers that were lost for years and years. In fact, we even transferred all these papers. It wasn't in my binder like it is right now. We transferred those from storage unit to shed to garage, and they've been there all that time. And so when you discovered them, I did a quick little video on you, and with some of the things that you were looking at through this. And I said, okay, so give me your best shot on this. So you know what he told me? He says, well, the most important thing is you've got to learn how to train. Hold that thought for a moment, because I chuckled to myself. I thought, no, there's got to be a message behind that.
You think I lost it then?
No, I didn't. I knew there was going to be a point right behind it. So I'm going to have you quickly tell that story, because there's a bottom line to it, and how people can discipline themselves, not really to go out and train fleas, but you'll understand the story behind it. And then we're going to bring our guest in.
All right, well, when you have a bottle full of fleas and put a lid on it, and the fleas will jump up and hit the lid. They'll jump up for a period of time, and eventually, and you take the lid away, and you don't need the lid on anymore. When they jump up to where they were hitting the head on the cover, they decided that was enough for them, so they went back to being normal, where when they jumped, they could jump, and they wouldn't hit a cover. There wasn't any cover. So that's how, when we learn something to be successful, it's like there's a cover over there, which is our limit, where we have our self-image at that point. So if you keep raising that a little bit, tiny bit at a time, eventually you don't need to cover for anything.
It's amazing, but you also said something about the word complacency.
Well, complacency
Did they become complacent?
Yeah, they get tired of hitting their head on the lid.
Well, knowing you, okay, and possibly my next guest, you will if you were one of those fleas, you would have kept jumping, kept hitting your head until you broke through.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's part of it.
there was hundreds of hours of research. I sort of was an eclectic of the eclectics. Been over 100 hours, hundreds of hours of research, taking the natural movements that animals make when they move and fight and so on, to put those movements added with the natural movements that we as a human being makes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how Tai Chi came about. It was two animals fighting, a crane and a snake.
Yeah.
And they saw the monks saw the beauty that they moved in, and swiftness and quickness, and they started emulating what these two little animals were doing, and they thought it was a great form of self-defense. Because when you come across some of those Tibetan monks and you try to steal their food, you'll see what I mean.
Oh, I definitely understand self-defense and all of that. I do want to, before I run out of time, because you and I can yak, yak, yak till the cows come home, but I do want to bring Mary Louise Zeller on to the show. She is not unknown to the show at all. Many of you have grown to not only be excited to hear what she has to say, but really grown to love her like we have. And she is also a fellow martial artist, 9-time world martial arts champion. And I bet you could understand what I was talking about as far as training fleas and that kind of thing with what Master Kelly said, and how you really had to dig deep to get self-confidence, discipline, and so much more that you guys are really pulling from those skill sets today. So welcome.
I've been listening to you all, and it always stimulates my thinking too. First thing I noticed today, Barbara, is you and I have both our little hearts on.
Yes, isn't that interesting?
And I wonder just why some people take on that training. Like, I know Grandmaster was first a ballroom dancer, and that takes an incredible amount of training and learning. I mean, you start from the bare bones beginner, and I think a lot of people are afraid of being a beginner because you might look foolish, especially the older you get. When you're young, you don't care. So maybe the trick is to stay young, stay with that heart of a child, and just bring heart to everything. But it makes me wonder sometimes, do I ever slip into negativity? Of course I do. And yet, I always pull myself out.
Yes.
I've done a lot of training in, what would I call it? Language, not just linguistics. Some people talk about our speaking, and they talk about it's only rhetoric. But rhetoric used to be greatly respected. Mm-hmm. So I've done some courses and done a lot of studying. And when you realize, and Grandmaster says, thoughts are things, and what you think about, you bring about. And sometimes thoughts just kind of flutter into our head. And, we're the ones who keep them or don't. So I think we can be self-generative about our thinking. And you have to realize that thoughts, what are they but words? So if you think about Christianity, in the Bible it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, mm-hmm. and the Word created heaven and earth. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So that, for me, is perfect power, the
yes.
power of your word.
Yes.
So if you're going to cause things with your speaking, you've got to have power in your word. So I think fundamental is that we have to be ethical people. We have to tell the truth. That's the bottom line of ethics. The bottom rung on the ladder is we're truthful. And if we lie, we weaken our word. So therefore, if we say, well, I'm going to do this, our word means nothing. But there's something a little bit bigger than that. And that is, if you have the power of your word, you can invent. You can generate and create.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When they were going to go to the moon, they didn't have the technology. They stood on the ground, they pointed at the moon, they said, we're going. And the technology came from that commitment. It was first spoken. Now then you have to have action, right? You have to have actions that match your word. And that, again, is integrity.
Yes, yes.
If I say I'm going to do this, I do this. Now, do I fail at that? Of course I do. But then you clean it up. You spill your milk, you clean it up, right? So if I say, well, I'm going to do this, and I, didn't write it down, I didn't put my word into existence by writing it down, setting an alarm on my phone, and I didn't do what I said I would do, then what do I have to do? I go back to that person and say, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't manage myself to keep my word. And what I'm going to do is put in a system. Again, commitment, action. All commitment only exists in words.
Of course.
So that I studied a course, it's called the Landmark Forum. And I've done all of their programs. It was very empowering. And I got that from the course. And it wasn't just learning it. It was like I really saw the source of my power in life was to have the power of my word. And I began working on it. Because I think most of us are weak in that. Mm-hmm. We just toss our words about and our thoughts, and negative thoughts come in and we just leave them sit there and we just believe them. And, this has been a hard year.
Hasn't it? It has, really. And
I'm calling it forced evolution.
You know what? You've said that before on our calls, and I respect you so much for that, because it's a creative word, and it makes a lot of sense. And the one thing that I also want to give you credit for, Mary Louise, on Saturday, you were on a massive call with a whole lot of people, and we were on the call with you because we love to support you. And you're like my husband. I can listen time and time again, one call after another, one meeting, one appointment, it doesn't matter. And I always glean something from it. Even though you may say a lot of the same, there's always something in there that triggers and resonates with us. So I thank you for that. But I tell you, Saturday, when you were talking to the group, yes, we've all gone through the politics this week. It doesn't matter who we voted for, who we didn't vote for. But your opening was so gracious, and it made so much sense. And if I remember correctly, the words that you used that we can learn from this election was what? Tenacity from both people running for president. And you applied that in your own life, and I tell you, it went a long way. And I appreciate that. Can you touch on that today live in the studio here? You made such an impact by talking about your own tenacity and how running for the presidency of the United States of America, my goodness, what tenacity they've got to have.
Yeah, and, Biden is educated. He's a lawyer, and he chose to go into politics. And he was not expected to win as a senator in his state, and he did. He's run for president 3 times. Now, when he was in the primaries, he was almost last. It just, until he got to South Carolina, I think he was down around, 12, 14, 15%, something like that. It did not look good for him. And so I said, regardless of your politics, we can learn from that. We can see that somebody who has a commitment, they choose, they prepare themselves. Do you need to be prepared? Yeah, you need to be prepared. So, when I look at my own career, in martial arts, I saw an ad in the paper for Taekwondo, and it said that it improved focus and concentration. I needed some of that. It said you could improve your fitness. I needed that. It looked like a whole lot of fun. I needed that. I went in, I went in and had a private lesson, and I was enlivened by it. So I chose to study Taekwondo, and I was a white belt, brand new baby, fresh, white, beginner, all of that. And I just kept going to class. And I didn't quit for years. I mean, you look at Biden, he's got a 50-year career in politics. He's experienced now. Now I am a master instructor. People look at my accomplishments. You know, I won U.S. Nationals in my division 20 years running. I was a 9-time world champion. And they're like, ooh, wow, like it was somehow easy. You know, it's like I have this special talent or something. No, I outworked everybody. And I did it consistently over time. You have no idea the numbers of times I've failed. You know, we've all heard that, how, you know, Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, he failed how many times before he was president? And that's what is the core of a champion. A champion sees a game worth playing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Go in heart and
Love
soul.
that.
So I think it's great we're wearing our little hearts today.
Yes.
But we quit.
That's the other thing.
Grandmaster, do you know the answer to this question? Out of 1,000 people who start their study of the martial arts, have you ever read how many people actually get to black belt out of 1,000?
Oh, it's small, isn't it?
Very small. Within 10%, I bet. One?
Really? Out of 1,000?
One.
Wow.
Well, it's pretty close,
Not
but
many
not
people
close
ever
enough.
get to master instructor who begin their study of the martial arts. One in how many do you think?
Gosh, I couldn't even guess.
That's
Ever
a shame,
get to
too.
master instructor? 10,000.
Wow. Wow.
1 in 10,000. So when we got our black belts, we were 1 in 1,000.
That's amazing. That is
Were
so
we
amazing.
particularly talented? No. We had character.
I was just going to say, it took the character and it took the discipline and that burning desire, that passion, that fire in the belly, and that never quit attitude. And that's what my husband said in the video today about training fleas and all of that. You got to learn how to train fleas. I'm going, oh dear Lord, what am I going to hear here? But you know what? There was a story behind that, and it's the never give up attitude. And in the end of that quick little video clip, it is on my timeline. You can see, anybody can see it. And in the end, his bottom line message was never give up, never ever give up. I taught my children to never give up. I know you taught your family never give up, and that is a phrase that holds us together even today, tomorrow, and 10, 20 years from now. And if I was to meet my maker in the middle of my sleep, I would want to leave that like you know, never give up no matter how hard the times are. If you have your faith too, at least we all believe in a very strong foundation of faith, and believe. And like you were saying, you know, be honest to your word. Our word is power, and words are things. They take root in your soul. And once we say something, you can never take it back. So that's why it's all, you know, you see all these T-shirts saying, be kind, be kind, be kind. And it's the way of the world today is changing, and we believe that it is changing for the better. And if we can help one another, if we can use WeBeam TV right here with our studio as a platform to convey those messages. And basically, what we're doing is an extension from many, many years ago when our platform was the Home Shopping Network, when Master Kelly sold his videos, his books, and so much more, Heart Math, the freeze frame. And it's a continuation because this is our solid foundation and what we believe in. And then you came along and filled in a gap, and it was a very deep gap that happened very, very quickly when you told us about the products. And believe me, I'm not here to sell, sell, sell. We're here to share, 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 and help, 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 because we are different people. Since you came into our lives back in April, Mary Louise, when several doors closed on us, and as you know, people are always asking us what we do and how we're doing it, or can you help us promote this product? And it takes a lot of research on our part because we want to see the science behind it. We want to see the results. So we get the science done, that we give that a passing grade, then we try the products. And we brought in today just a small group. It's really a small group of products that Kayani brings us, but they're all power groups. They're all hero products. And what we brought in today was the Core 140, which is our new meal replacement that I've been doing. I lost 2 pounds, gained 2 pounds, ran out of it, so we're now back on it. So I'm hoping to lose my COVID 6, 7, probably closer to 7. And then we also have the entire Sunrise program, which is a 3-step process. The sunrise in the morning, the nitric oxide throughout the day, and we also have I don't have the sunset with me, but the sunset is in the evening. You take that in the evening, so it's like 1, 2, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. And then during the day, this is another one of my hero products that I absolutely love. And a friend of mine loves this too. In 30 days, she felt that she was noticing a difference. This is the HL5 with the grass-fed collagen. And I have to tell you that if I have to think about a whole lot of things to take, it just doesn't work for me. Give me something that's really simple. Mary Louise, don't you think that men and women, and even the kids today, are looking to have a simpler life? Because there's been so much stress upon everyone, and to help ourselves reduce the stress by minimizing what we have to take. You've said yourself, how many years you've had as an athlete, trays of vitamins and supplements, right?
I was spending a fortune.
Yeah.
And that's why this program is great. It doesn't cost but just a small percentage of what I was spending, but it gives me so much more value, so much more strength and focus and concentration. I can do things now going on 83 that I couldn't do back 15, 20 years ago.
That's true.
Just in a few short months. I mean, it's hard to believe. Hard for me to believe sometimes. But I always revert back to that thing. Inside of all of us are champions. In fact, you were the fastest swimmer before you were born.
I love this story.
And it's funny because when little sperm guys make it to the queen, they sort of, about a dozen or so of them rest in front of the queen, and they start vibrating. And if the queen vibrates or they vibrate at the same vibration level as the queen, then they bang, it's like an explosion.
Bingo.
And then we have a born.
There you go. Fireworks begin.
And why do I say that? Because it takes understanding a little bit of what life is all about. Life is all about substance like this, like these programs, and it's also about your own personal power. So when you have the supplements right, when you have your attitude right, when you have your physical and mental attitude right, nothing can defeat you. They call it inclusion in the martial art world. When you step in the ring and face that adversity, you know what they're going to do before they do it. It's just a nanosecond, but you know that. And when you're in tune, in focus, you will be able to experience one of the most wonderful feelings in the world is inclusion. You know it's going to happen before it happens. That's the same way in business. When you're talking to somebody across the desk about money, about success, all these things play into it. And when you really need to take it to another level, this is what you need. Believe me when I tell you.
That was a great expression about that, because it kind of takes us right back to what we've been talking about during the show. And what we need in order to move forward, acceptance of different situations in our lives, whether it be personal, whether it be business, we need the biology of our body in sync. And Mary Louise, not only is Mary Louise, I'll tell everyone, is she a 9-time world martial arts champion, but she's also a biologist and has done research on cancer over many, many years. So this gal knows her stuff when it comes to the body. And when she brought these products to us, I thought, oh, finally, something that is simple. And Mary Louise, with all the backup and science behind this, it has allowed us to be able to think more clearly, to be able to be more centered, right? To be able to have more patience. I'm always working on that. and just before the show, I said, "Dear Lord, sweet Jesus, give me the patience I need right this minute." And if we can have that sense of humor as we are moving through life and trying to make a difference. Goodness knows what 2021 has to bring, but you know what? That's not even here yet. So let's get through the rest of this year, set our intentions, keep our hands on the present, our eyes on the future. My life coach was the one that said that to me. And I've never forgotten about that. So to be able to have these products, it makes a big, big difference in our lives. And even if you don't purchase these products, but do something for yourself, because it will make a difference when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel where things are not going down the tube. But if you take a look at these products, I'm going to let Mary Louise actually kind of flip through these, and then, before I do though, I have the rest of my drink in here, and that is my Core 140 and my little Kyani bottle. And this is available for like a month's worth, or depending on how many scoops you use. I'm only using 1 scoop right now because I am getting results from it. But what I love about this are all the nutrients. If there was nothing else that you tried from the Kyani line, I would definitely recommend trying this and get a hold of us so we can help you with that. And that this is fairly new. It's just come out in the last month or so, so we're really, really excited about it. But the hero products with the Sunrise, the Sunset, and the Nitric Extreme, I'm going to toss over to Mary Louise, because I want you to share with everyone that you've been taking these products for 12 years.
12 years, yeah.
We have about 25 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you to zip through these because there is so much to share. We could sit and talk about these products for hours, and guess what? We have, because there's so much to talk about with them, and the proof is in the pudding. So I'm going to turn it right over to you, girlfriend.
Well, just like Grandmaster, he's 82, and I am just turned 77, and I'm aging differently. A lot of people my age, they shuffle along, they have no energy, they have no mental clarity, they can't remember their zip code. And, I'm studying classical guitar and memorizing 5 pages of music at a time, and speak Spanish fluently and read and write it, and can flip back and forth between 2 languages. I'm 77. Now, I just think that's a joke because I don't relate to it like I should be any certain way. What I am is fully alive. And we talked about choosing passion for life. It comes with responsibility. So if I choose to study the martial arts, I show up to class. But it was more than that. I needed to change my mental attitude. You talked about people just don't believe that they're extraordinary, that it's some kind of genetic trait. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I mean, some people have certain talents. I love talent. But talent doesn't always get you there. The work, the commitment, and it is holistic. So I always study spiritually every day. And I thank you, Barbara, for the lovely book that you gave me. It's meant so much to me. And, I pray and meditate and do my very, very best to connect to spirit. I am Catholic, and I pray the rosary every day. And it's like logging on to the spirit and asking for guidance and protection. So, I've watched myself over the years. As a young kid, I went to church because my parents made me. And I went to Catholic schools because my parents put me there. And right now, I'm choosing to feel the spirit of all of that. And it's been very empowering for me. And then I learned about my work. I learned about music. I learned about human being, who we are, the ontology of human being. We all talk about being human beings, and most of us are really human and then being very little. And we're mostly our thoughts, and sometimes those are just reactive and all of that kind of stuff. So, taking on the Taekwondo and growing in that, and I was always studying nutrition. I mean, with that background in science and then the sports and being older athlete, I was always looking for higher performance out of an older body. And like Grandmaster, I had a lazy Susan this big, full of supplements, and would take them down by the handful and spend $500-$600 a month. So this one is much cheaper for me too, and yet I couldn't even measure the results. So I co-authored a book with a world-class runner, and he came to me about these products, and I had my credit card out and said, okay, send them to me, and I received the products. The first time I took the Nitro FX, which is a nitric oxide precursor product. Now every athlete knows about nitric oxide, and scientists. I mean, we know we can't live but a couple of minutes without oxygen, but you can't live a couple of seconds without nitric oxide. It's literally responsible for all cell function in the human body and the cell communication. And that's how our bodies operate as a unified organism. Every thought in your brain can only happen in the presence of nitric oxide. And just like human growth hormone, your production of nitric oxide goes up to the ripe old age of 25, and then starts that phase of life of decline. And the production goes down 10 to 15% every decade of life. So by the time you're 50, 60 years old, you've only got about 20% of the nitric oxide and human growth hormone in your body that you had when you were a young person. And that is literally responsible for all of the symptoms of aging. So now they gave a Nobel Prize in 1998 for discovering the importance of nitric oxide to cardiovascular health. It is a vasodilator, simply put, so it expands circulation, therefore oxygenation of every cell and system in your body too. So that product is my favorite. As soon as I took it's just some drops. It's from plant nitrites, the noni plant, which is rich in plant nitrates and nitrites, and other elements, coenzyme Q10, magnesium, zinc, chromium, niacin, like that. Building blocks that your body needs to produce nitric oxide, which it always could. But we're kind of programmed for decline. It's, we may be, programmed for extinction in this physical life, but it's the decline I object to. I am committed to staying strong, vitally alive with every breath of life, and then go on to the next like that. So healthy living, healthy dying. This thing of drooling in an old folks' home the last 5-10 years of your life doesn't look like a lot of fun. So, my great aunt was about 84 years old, just sitting in a chair planning her next, no, she was 94, sorry, planning her next trip to come and see us. And the doctor said she didn't even have a heart attack. Her heart just simply took its last beat. And Nana, that was my Nana, she showed us how to do it. So you just be alive, fully expressed, and living life like that. So the nitric oxide, this Nitro FX of Kyani International, I was amazed with, because I had always suffered with migraine headaches. And for me, a month into it, I just noticed I hadn't had a migraine. Now, I've been 12 years without one, so for that reason alone, I will take this product forever. But the other thing I noticed is my brain working clearer and faster. And I was kind of impressed with that. The other thing I noticed is that my energy stayed up here all day long. And when nighttime came, after I'd been training and teaching, and I'd get home and fix dinner and shower, and I'd be good for nothing, I'd fall asleep on the sofa and couldn't even watch TV. I just thought I was still alert and full of energy. At midnight, I had to make an appointment to go to sleep. That's part of health too, drinking water, sleep, all of that. So that product alone, there's a lot of science behind it, tremendous science behind that product. And you can read from now to the rest of your life with that science. But basically, it is the molecule of life, as that phrase was coined by Columbia University. So for high performance, you can measure it. I can literally double bicep curls, doing them with and without the nitric oxide. I went and did an IQ test. My IQ at 67 years old when I did that test jumped 11 points. That was the difference, 11 points difference in an IQ test, taking the nitro. So I was right, my brain was working faster. I finished more of the test and working better. So that is very, very important. So cardiovascular health, brain health, and the nitric oxide precursor product has also been proven in independent research to support the healthy function of the immune system. So I call this healthy aging. And, when you see people who are so, almost depressed, like I said, you want to go up and do a pulse check, and they even speak slowly. People talk to me on the phone, and they're like, "Oh, you don't sound 77 years old." And I'm like, well, most 77-year-olds, that's like, "Hello, dear," something like that.
I know.
I know. So that product is my favorite. The Sunrise, it's full of 22 superfoods. Literally, search the world. Wild Alaskan blueberry, #1 in antioxidant power. It's totally a superfood. And then acai berry, mangosteen, amla berry, maki. I mean, they literally searched the world for all the superfoods they could find, and even some of the ordinary ones like your broccoli and kale and spinach, and extracts, not concentrates, but extracts. And it tastes good too because of all the berries in it. So that is one of my favorites. And also it's got all the vitamins and minerals in it. Now, that would be best money could buy superfood nutrition, super antioxidant, best money could buy. Leading edge. I've never seen a product with that many superfood ingredients, and I love that Kyani's clean and green. But our Sunset product, I'm going to call the Sunset and the Nitro Effects and Nitro Extreme a breakthrough in human health. Now, I'm a biologist, I can say that. And I studied the research. And why am I saying that? Is because it promotes the overall health of the cardiovascular system, helps to normalize your cholesterol levels and your cardiovascular function, your brain function. We need omega-3s. So these are pure omega-3s from wild Alaskan sockeye salmon. The wild Alaskan fish is pure, first of all, so it's safe. No heavy metals, contaminants in the water, and fat cells bind toxins. So most of the oceans of the world are polluted with cadmium, mercury, PCB, lead, all of which cause cancer and dysfunction in the human body. Fat cells bind those toxins. So if there are toxins in the water, they're going to be in the fish and in the fat cells. So first of all, our product is from Alaska, some of the coldest, purest water left on earth. And is it potent? Yes, absolutely potent and pure. But they added to it the extract of a plant seed, the annatto bush in Ecuador. And it is pure isolated fraction of vitamin E called delta-tocotrienol. And if you were to go to PubMed.gov or NIH.com, National Institute of Health, and put in the search box delta-tocotrienols, you could read from now to the end of your life. There are hundreds of thousands of articles about promoting overall cardiovascular health, brain health, really preventing disease from getting a foothold in your body. So it's optimizing overall health and function of the human body, the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the brain. That runs the whole show in the human body. So the Nitro FX Extreme, which is about 5 times stronger. A lot of the athletes use it, but we've got high performance moms and high performance executives and students too who need that kind of brain function and high performance. So those 3 products, the Kyani Triangle of Health, I've been on for 12 years, and I am just simply different in the way in which I'm aging. I am vitally alive. I'm in one of the fastest growth and development phases of my entire life. I'm learning and growing at a pace that, sometimes young people in their 20s and 30s don't match. Now the Fit 20 and the HL5, do we need collagen protein in our body? Yes, next to water, the most abundant molecule in the body is collagen protein. Our skin, hair, joints, eyesight, everything, muscle depends on having collagen in the body. So I just really supplement heavily with collagen protein. As you age, you need more protein, not less. Mm-hmm. More protein to maintain muscle, tissue, and yet still build and have that energy, that high performance. You've got to have more protein. And in our diets, we could not. I do 120 grams a day of protein, but I want to make sure it's pure, clean and green, and that's what this is. And the Fit 20 has got 20 grams of protein. I love that. I take my HL5, the collagen protein, before exercise, along with my Sunrise and Nitro. And then afterwards for recovery, Fit 20. And then later in the day, I'm going to do another a meal replacement. And that meal replacement, Core 140, oh my gosh, they call it 140 because of the 140 different ingredients in it. And it's got prebiotics, probiotics, metabolism boosters, belly fat busters. It's got appetite suppressants, and it's got 22 grams of protein. It's got 18 organic extracts of organic vegetables in it. And I can't even, I've never seen a meal replacement that complete. So literally with the Kyani Triangle of Health, our proteins, we're giving our body everything it needs to stay well and be strong and perform in this world. It helps with stress. I can't ever remember a time that we've been any more stressed. I mean, given the politics, I've never seen politics, this much divisiveness. I really, really am praying now that we're coming together. And I liked what Biden said in his talk, where he says, we're not just blue states and red states, we're the United States.
That was
That's
strong.
weird.
That was very strong. Yes.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good. And just this hope, and I hope he's going to be the president who reaches across those party lines and is for the people.
Yes.
So, and I look towards 2021 now, and I'm preparing. So yes, as athletes, people are committed to making a difference. We choose our games. We get in there and learn our games. We practice our games. We give everything we've got every day of life.
Yes.
I've started scheduling myself, for all of the different aspects. You have to schedule your nutritional programs in there.
You do.
And you have to schedule your spiritual programs and all of your mental growth and your work, everything, and family time, whatever. But I'm scheduling myself for success.
That's right. We are
Really
too.
looking
We're
forward
right.
to
We're on the same team, and one of the biggest things that really helps us get there, regardless of what's going on in politics or COVID or whatever, the biggest commitment I know personally I can give for many years, especially since I met my husband, and he was my life coach on teaching me what to take and what not to take, and exercise and the importance. He used me as an example, sort of like a guinea pig when he was writing his book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. But I just want to add to what Mary Louise has said about these products too. This Core 140, I must agree with her wholeheartedly, and I know my husband does. Neither one of us have ever seen a meal replacement. I'll be honest with you, as I always am, I'm really not a fan of meal replacements per se, because of what they've always lacked, and they've always had an aftertaste. This product is nature-based. It's gluten-free for those of you that have to watch your gluten, non-GMO, no soy, and grass-fed protein. And what I love about it also is it has the malice apple, which is called the belly blaster, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we have as we get older, and how we process carbs and how we just process anything going through our body. If there was anything that you wanted to try as a meal replacement or as managing your weight, and again, we can never make any claims to diagnose, cure, or treat disease or any situations like that, but what we can do is share how these products have helped us and how they have helped us continue on with more focus and concentration, more positive energy, and to reduce stress. The world has never been in such a stressful state right now, and who knows what's going in the near future, but we believe in living for today. And again, keeping your hands on the present and your eyes on the future, which is my husband's favorite saying that I always bring out. I love coining that phrase along with him. But I'll tell you, give this a try and go to our link, which is immuneboosters2020.com, and you'll be able to see all the products. And again, it's not a long, drawn-out having to figure out what the products are. You get the Triangle of Health, the morning, the evening, the Nitro FX or the Nitro Extreme. And also something I want to add to these products, if you are an athlete, professional athlete, and the like. These are NSF certified. So that means you can take these products and get tested. Chrysula Gauze is our friend, and actually she's on our team with Kayani. She is going to be competing next year as a triathlete. And then my husband's son is also going to be competing, and he's just starting this product. He's already been on the Triangle of Health, getting very good results among so many other people that we've helped introduce these products to, because it's easy to say, well, you have to have a great mind, body, spirit. But in order to do that, we need to nourish our body in order to bring that through the whole system in an optimal way. Pure, green, very healthy products that the research, the science is there. It'll take you a good little while to do all the research, but if you go to immuneboosters2020.com, you can see the bullet points and you can do your own research. Believe me, I've been trained through the Home Shopping Network for 15 years. We had to train legally on what we could say, what we couldn't say on products, and I know that's even changed over a number of years. But the one thing that is very important before I try or test any product is I need to know what the features are, and I need to know what the benefits are. If you can give me that, you have my listening ear. And that's exactly what Mary Louise Zeller did to both my husband and I. And what do you have to say, champ, about these products? I know I didn't leave much time for you, but...
You said it all, believe me. And the thing that's so good about this is it's like we're all high-performance engines. Our bodies are high-performance. So if you have a high-performance car or high-performance boat or whatever, you need high-performance fuel. This is the high-performance fuel of endurance, of athletic competition. This is the fuel that'll get your boat, your body, and your mind to the goal. What you used in, you can say that you can use it as being a top father, mother, top school teacher. It's all the same formula, but you still have to have that high performance fuel if you want your body to be a high performance body.
Exactly, and I love that you use that analogy, because remember when you had Black Magic, he's such a hot dog.
500 horsepower.
Oh my goodness, his Black Magic, and he'd go race that car. I took it off one time. I thought the car was going to run away with me, but he put all the high performance stuff in it, just like we need to put the high performance stuff in our bodies. We've done the research. It's goof proof, really. We've taken the guesswork out of it just by using these products and sharing with you. Kayani has taken the guesswork out. The unbelievable research and the unbelievable quality of these products that you deserve and we deserve are right here and now, and it's up to you to think about it. How's your year been going? Take a little soul search there and go, well, maybe I could improve with exercise. Maybe I gained a COVID 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever it is. Maybe it's time for me to reset the clock and slow the aging process down. Slow it down so that you can get down on the floor with your grandkids. I was down on the floor with my grandson JD yesterday and the other two kids, and we were moving around like I was about 10, and it felt so good to be able to do that.
Yeah, I almost stepped on it.
But anyway, we're running out of time, and Mary Louise, I can't thank you enough as we close out in the last 3+ minutes. Just give us a few one-liners. Master Kelly, you give us a few one-liners, and I'll be quiet for a change. How's that?
Well, I'm all about being my best. Whatever age I am, doing my best, giving my best. That's how I love life the most.
Of course.
So I want the best of life, too. I want to experience life's best. So I'm just going to go after it. My coach used to tell me, Mary Louise, you get out there and you leave it on the mat. Don't you dare bring one little bit thing back here. You leave it all out there. So every time I would go in, I would just give it all. And sometimes even when you're losing, you just give it all, give it all, give it all. And at the end, do you like to win better than lose? Sure. But you always learn. You always get stronger. And when I would leave it on the mat, I would always be satisfied.
See, because you gave it your all. And that's all I ever ask of my children. That's all I was ever asked of, is to give it my very, very best. And when you can look back, and this goes with relationships too, it's not just in the martial arts or athleticism or business, but when we can look back and know that we gave it our all and we just didn't do half of it willy-nilly, because you feel so much better about yourself and that you're giving back and you're leading by example. And I think that's what anyone out there probably should think about doing, is leading by example in peace, in love, in joy, spiritual faith, grounded in love, and live a heart-empowered life. We're going to be really doing this new series, and we're going to have a lot of guests. We're preparing for that. Mary Louise is going to be... What's that?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I know Harry Cachet.
I know. I invited Harry to watch the show today because he's going to be coming on. He's a psychologist and very well appointed in the human brain. He's starting a new series next year as well, and we'll be talking about that and driving people to that link for him. But I think that this is such a great platform. We can be doing anything on this show that we would like. Well, just about anything. But our choice is to raise the awareness and educate people like we're doing, and we're so grateful to have you as part of it, as a main speaker on the show, and you come from the heart. We just love you to pieces. I can't wait till we hook up and we can really hug you. In the meantime,
let me tell you one thing else, something else I'd like to leave people with, is that we are the ones making it all up. Mm-hmm. You know, like Grandmaster says, those thoughts in our head. Make up something really good.
I love that. That's a good one.
You know,
that's a good one.
You know, make up you are a champion. Make up you are successful. Make up you are.
Exactly. It's true. It is true. Well, it looks like we're going to have to close the show. One word, Master Kelly, before we close it.
Would you rather pay the price of discipline or the price of regret? Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons.
Woo! That was excellent. I can't top that.
One, eh?
Love one another, be happy, and know there's a miracle out there that can change your life. Love you all. God bless. Mwah!